Welcome to Maximum Chillage, Episode 5, a very special Halloween edition. Today I have with me, as always, Tiki Mike. This is weird, dude. You can't do it with an audio.
No, you got to introduce yourself. That's what you skipped. You didn't introduce yourself.
How do people do this?
Are we recording?
Yeah,
we're just going to go with it?
Fucking record it.
All right, introduce yourself.
I'm Chewy Sanchez.
And I'm Tiki Mike.
Okay, today we're going to talk about... We got some ideas off of, I don't know if you checked Instagram. People replied to our story today.
I saw one of them.
Those 3 of them.
Oh, cool,
Best and worst Halloween costume ideas. People want to know about that. Oh. People also want to know popular 2018 costumes, offensive costumes. What warrants that?
Oh, okay.
And what's crossing the line? I found some news articles about that.
Yeah.
Your plans for Halloween? Nobody really asked that, but I want to know.
Oh,
and then we're going to end it
with... It kind of hurts that nobody asked.
The last one, my favorite. We're going to do an urban legend, the Bunny Man.
The Bunny Man.
It's an urban legend that was told to me when I was younger, and we're going to get to that.
Oh, all right.
Let's go. I really hope you enjoyed that because Michael completely composed that whole thing. That was... I actually recorded Mike laughing, and...
I have a future, bro. I have a future in voiceover, you know.
I think
that's totally a different person than me. Totally not my voice.
Best costume idea. Best and worst.
Well, I don't know. That's a kind of a vague question, but let me get an example.
To me, the best... Okay, so to me, best is always most genuine, most authentic. So if you have a Star Wars costume, like a genuine, made by the guy, Stormtrooper costume... I mean,
if they're on cosplay
best.
level,
so like Comic-Con level, that's like the best to me.
Okay.
I think to other people, best would be like most original.
No, well, okay, sometimes it is. Well, because I do very much appreciate when there's a level of authenticity, and you could definitely tell that they worked at getting this costume put together, whether that means that they found, certain era type of clothing to go along with some fucking movie star or very famous role. I mean, or if... I do appreciate those, but sometimes I just like costumes where it's like an obscure thing that somebody thought was a great idea and probably nobody fucking recognizes them. But I'm like, wait a minute. Are you such and such character from the 1970s era Battlestar Galactica? I mean, why the fuck would you do that? But I appreciate it and I fucking love it. I like those, but I also like, the little pun costumes where it's like, I mean, the serial killer one's done to death, but that's the only one that I can think of.
What are you talking about, serial killer?
They're there with like a bloody knife, and they have like boxes of torn cereal stapled onto their clothes.
I don't like those cheesy ones.
I mean, I do like some cheese sometimes, man. I'm a guy that likes his cheese, Chewy. And, sometimes that's, a good... Parmigiano Reggiano or whatever the fuck you say, and this is a Fontana or whatever those cheeses are, or sometimes it's like metaphysically meta cheese. You know what I mean? Just a good play on words. I appreciate it.
How are you on like classic ones, like the ones you're gonna see year in year out? This year, Halloween makes sense. Michael Myers.
Oh, yeah.
But, 10 years ago, it was kind of like... 10 years ago, it did make sense, right? That was Halloween H2O.
There's an H2O every fucking 5-10 years, man. I mean, there was the Rob Zombie ones after H2O, and then, yeah, man. I mean, there's...
Rob
that's
Zombie.
always going to come back.
That guy, I don't know, man.
He's a weird dude. I don't know if I agree with the
anybody who's a Rob Zombie fan.
Critical praise on his movies. Some of them are, he has some good cinematography use, but is that him? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really looked. I feel like
everybody I've met who likes those movies are just fucking on the cusp of, okay, you might be demented, but I think you want to be demented. Like they're like, oh, please diagnose me with something.
I mean, I don't know, man. I
want to be different, man. I want to listen to the dope show, man.
I'm just saying, I've never been a huge fan of Rob Zombie films. Like, have you watched a lot of his movies other than the Halloween versions that he did? Like House of a Thousand Corpses
that were made in 2007. Yeah, those two fucking dumb movies.
I saw Devil's Rejects. I mean, like, I felt like it was already done. Like, it was its own version of Texas Chainsaw.
It was Texas
without
Chainsaw.
Being Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I didn't see the creativity that a lot of people saw in his movies. And, you know, I mean, sometimes do I want to, you know, I can't remember the lyrics of his goddamn song. I was going to talk about Burn with the Witches and something with the ditches. I can't think of his lyrics. But, you know, I love that music video when I was a kid, man. Fucking On the Box.
Oh, The Box.
Yeah. I never called in, but I think I hoped that the percentage of people calling in.
I definitely called in on The Box.
You know,
if you're not familiar with
Rob
The Box,
Zombie.
it was you had to call in, so you had to see the next music video.
Oh, yeah.
And the more people who called, the more... I don't even know if it was like... That shit probably wasn't even real. They just knew what was going to go on next. It was based off a billboard.
Like, the number to call in was just getting phone numbers for robo-dials later. Like, these are teenagers because this is who's watching.
What about worst costumes?
Worst costumes?
What is the worst costumes to you?
You know what I think is the worst costumes? I think the worst costumes are whatever's very popular that year on TV and becomes a very generic, cheap version that you find for like $70 at the Halloween stores. Like,
isn't that crazy how you go to the Halloween store because you want a great costume, but you're going to go there and you're going to get a cheap version of a great costume for a premium price.
For a premium price.
Super premium.
I feel like that's very uncreative. I feel like it's just like, oh, yeah, I totally
I don't remember Halloween stores when I was a kid, but I feel like they were better quality back then. But it could be that I was a kid.
It could be that we were kids. I feel like I remember a lot more masks on the wall for some reason.
I remember premium. I actually worked at a Halloween store. It was my first job. We actually had a premium mask section where they were only in a gallery.
Yeah.
And you'd have to ask me permission to look at it.
Yeah.
And now it's just a bunch of cheap masks.
Yeah, I always super wanted one of those masks when I was a kid, but they were always like 70 and up.
I always wanted a mask. I was a big fan of masks. I wasn't a big fan of face makeup. And
was it because of Goosebumps?
It was because of The Mask, the Jim Carrey classic.
All right. Just as valid.
So
actually more valid than Goosebumps.
It's a great movie. We'll talk about that one day. We'll have a whole episode dedicated to The Mask one day. It's really metaphorical. It's deep.
Dude, you know, I just want to be a regular guy and just come up on
we'll
something.
We'll get to that one day.
We'll
whole
talk
episode.
About that. Oh yeah, man.
But I wanted a really cool mask, and my parents bought me one time.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was like the premium. It was like middle of the line. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't great. I couldn't have it on for more than 5 minutes at a time.
Oh, really?
Fucking hot.
Oh yeah, you start smelling your nose sweat.
Well, it just gets like all muddy in there.
Oh, it does. But I look, God bless my mother for making some of my costumes when I was a kid. You know, I had various versions of Grim Reapers and things. She always made the black robe and other shit. My masks were never that cool. They were that's where she saved the money on, and she bought materials and she sewed shit together.
Yeah.
Now, I need to find a picture. I had a really legit it was the 90s or 80s? I had a legit Pennywise the Clown costume one year. I think it was like, I was already probably too old to stop, be dressing up like that. I was like, I don't know, maybe it was only 6th grade, but I feel like it might have been like 7th or 8th.
Ooh, yeah, that's
I think it was 6th
dude.
grade. No, I'm gonna say it was 6th grade.
Age you can get beat up for doing something like that.
I started. I know because I was watching that movie when I was like in 4th grade. So
only the Rob Zombie kids would have agreed with that.
But I had this really generic clown mask to go with it. It would have been better if I just did makeup. But then I would have needed a bald cap and everything for that version of Pennywise. But I had like a legit clown mask that was bald, and she like sewed some really bad red material to make hair, like the little balding hairline that Tim Curry has in that movie. But yeah, it was the costume itself was legit as fuck. Like the little yarn balls in the middle, and I have to give it to my mom on that one. It's just fucking came through that year on Halloween.
How do you feel about the new It costumes?
I haven't seen the costumes.
They're pretty weird. But I mean, something like It, where Pennywise is so like detailed, I guess, and prosthetic and bulbous. Like,
okay, yeah.
You just can't capture it. There's a lot of things that you can't capture, and I don't even think you should even try.
Well, last year I remember seeing across the street this kid that was in a raincoat with his little rain boots, and he had a little red balloon.
I almost like that better.
And I thought it was cool when I saw it.
Easier to do, and it looked better.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with that one.
I actually saw a guy. I don't know if I've ever brought this up, but it reminds me. The movie just came out last year.
Yeah.
When I saw this, it was maybe like a month later. A kid at Barnes & Noble who was serving me my coffee had a real cool guy attitude with me. He had tattoos. I looked at his forearm when he was giving me my change. He had the new Pennywise. A portrait. Actually, really well done.
Really well done.
It was a really well done portrait. I'll give it up to the artist. But I'm like,
I don't know, man.
That's why you work here.
Yeah. No, it's just...
You probably like Rob Zombie.
I don't think we should shit on Rob Zombie that much. That guy's got a long and successful career. He's doing something right with his weirdness, you know.
Being weird.
Yeah, but, I feel like...
It also has a long career?
Does it feel...
Ozfest. You know what's weird as shit? Ozfest.
Okay, so do you think that it's weird that he got the new one versus, like, the old Pennywise? Do you feel like a fictional character needs to have some history before somebody gets a homage to it like that? Or do you think it's I mean, would you have judged him a little less if it was the Tim Curry Pennywise?
I would have judged him a little less if it was the Tim Curry Pennywise 10 years ago.
10 years ago?
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Before
this movie was announced.
Before it reignited interest in the original movie as well.
If you were just a fan of the 90s TV series or special.
Yeah.
Or the book.
2 parts special.
Yeah.
Well, the book, I don't think they have like a full-on depiction of it. Yeah.
Isn't the book more just like, I don't even know.
The clown
just
on
eyes and shit?
There is a clown cover art, and it's like a really like undetailed one-line drawing of a clown face.
So worst costumes to you? Let's get back to worst costumes.
I think it's the played-out costumes. Oh, you know what? Like,
what about like those ones where you're riding an ostrich? I'm not a big fan of those. Like the inflatables.
Well, okay, maybe not necessarily the ostrich one, but I've seen some people go all out with the stilts. Mm-hmm. And I don't know I think you remember this. We were at Fresno City, and there was this weird dude dressed up like Dr. Frankenstein, and he was riding the creature, and he was like hella tall, and like he would change the creature's head to look one way or the other.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it looked like, whoa, how is he doing this? Was that
handmade though, or was that got it from the store?
Well,
I guess the worst idea is...
I think he did get... I don't know. He might... I don't know. I haven't seen the costume ever again.
I think basically we're saying the worst costumes are the ones that come from the store.
Last year, I saw this guy in stilts, and I don't know where he got... He probably just went to regular Hot Topic and got regular Jankos, but, he was a black metal dude with, like, horns, and he was just, like... 12 feet high, just hanging out at the pool hall in the Tower District, and just posing for pictures and shit. And I like that. When he's not in fucking 12-foot long Jankos, he probably looks exactly the same, horns and all. But I appreciated his costume last year. I think I just don't like. On those popular costumes this year.
Yeah. We're going to get to those.
One is...
Next, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll
popular
just save
this
it.
year.
It's part of my thing of things I don't like about Halloween costumes. Okay. It's just, like they have a social media influencer.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to get to all the popular ones. There's actually a list of all the popular ones and the most popular by state that I found.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so we'll get to that if you want to hold off.
Yeah, I'll hold off.
To me...
I mean, it kind of goes like along the lines of like a Jersey person, and like during Jersey Shore they had a Jersey person or something like that, or it's a Jersey Guido.
Like the reason, like they just can't call it Jersey Shore for legal purposes.
For royalty rights, and they're just going on with it has like a fake tribal tattoo.
Last year, I didn't see it much this year, but last year they actually had a lot of like President Trump stuff.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of MAGA hats. Like they literally had MAGA hats there, and I really didn't know how to feel about that.
Well, I mean, they always do. Whoever's running that year, like they always have the political masks.
Yeah.
Of,
I remember seeing the Obama ones, and they were very. We're going to talk about that too. We'll talk about the offensive costumes.
You think that's offensive?
I think it's just as bad as wearing blackface.
I don't think it is.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
So what are you going to be this year? Yourself?
Dude, nothing this year.
Nothing?
Yeah, I'm a little let down about it.
Wow. Last year you promised us you were going to be a wizard.
That later. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted. But it's not going to happen. And I'll tell you why later. It's just not worth it.
All right. Well, let's get to our next topic then. Popular 2018 costumes. What do you think the most popular costumes are this year?
Dude, I have no idea. I'm out of the loop.
You have a new phone, man.
Dude, that phone does everything that my old phone did. You know, it's just all phones are is like a portal of possibilities, and you can use it to do dumb shit like, you know, Candy Crush all day, just Candy Crushing it, and then you can like use it as like
Do you play Candy Crush?
No, I don't play Candy Crush.
Okay.
I'm just saying, man. Or you could use it like an encyclopedia, man.
You want to do top 10 or top 20?
Oh, top 20 is too much.
Top 10?
If we're doing top 20 and we just like don't go into detail of every single one, we could just spitball.
Stop me when you wanna go into detail.
Yeah, let's go for that.
Let's go through. Let's just play it by ear.
We're starting from the 20,
number 1.
Right? We're starting from 1?
Okay, let's start.
No, you gotta start from 20. Otherwise, there's no build up.
20. A bear.
Oh bullshit.
19.
That's not in there.
1980s. I'm not gonna say the numbers anymore. Batman. Doll. Zombie. Mermaid. The Incredibles. Mouse. Wonder Woman.
Mouse.
A mouse.
Just like a regular run-of-the-mill mouse,
Yeah,
or
probably,
is it like?
You probably just put the ears on. It's probably like a little kid costume. You put little ears and then little nose.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
This is you gotta take into account that this
a lot of kids.
This is a kid's holiday.
Fuck you. Nah, man, it comes from the Celtic region, and it was to scare spirits away.
Wonder Woman. Clown. And now here we get to the top 10. And I'll say the numbers now. 10, Princess. 9, Rabbit. 8, Pirate. 7, Superhero. 6, Harley Quinn. 5, Witch. 4, Dinosaur. 3, you wouldn't guess this one. This is really weird. Unicorn. 2, Spider-Man. 1, Fortnite.
You know what it was? It was all those unicorn... fucking Bang commercials. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I didn't even know they had commercials.
They have one commercial. I think they're internet commercials. But Bang.
Have you had
drinks.
the unicorn Bang energy drink?
Yeah, it's just strawberry.
Oh, is it?
That's what it tastes like.
I like
to me.
it.
It's just strawberry soda, man.
Oh, okay.
I mean, without the sugar
and no carbs. You know, and all that.
Try to get all that creatine.
All the creatine for the gains,
bro. Caffeine, you know what I'm saying? Just go on a hulking fucking streak.
To me, this list is just like classic. Like I don't think it ever changes.
A lot of those.
I actually looked over and over to find. So I was like, these are fucking generic. All the lists were the same. These are all off. They're all off internet sales. It tells you that they're pulled from internet sales. And
well, you know what? That was one of my costumes too. Not just a pirate, but Captain Hook, and it was
why Captain Hook this year?
Ass costume.
Oh no, you did. You were Captain Hook.
I was Captain Hook when I was like 5. I really liked the movie Hook when I was a kid.
You know, I was never Captain Hook, and I was never a pirate. But when I went to Disneyland, I really wanted the Captain Hook hook.
Oh, I had.
When you bring it back, you have nothing to do with it.
Oh, dude, no! You display that on a mantle. You got mantles right here with weird stuff right there. A hook right there would look great. You could even hang it on your hanger on that thing in your closet.
I can hear Katie just cringing right now. She hates anything that I collect. All collections.
Goofy ass stuff.
All the stuff that I
mean, you got 3 of the Intel Inside guys.
I actually have 4 of them. One of them's on display up there.
Oh, shit. He's over there.
I actually have the whole
why?
collection. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Where did you get these? To thrift store? Like,
no,
where do they still have
those
these
were brand
guys?
new.
These are brand new.
They were
these?
brand new.
Oh,
I got them when they first came out.
This long?
These come a long way, man.
These should be eBay.
No, they don't. They're not worth anything.
Oh man, dude,
not yet.
You got some weirdos out there that are like, oh shit, no fucking way, all four, and they're just ready to spend their money on it.
In Alaska.
Oh yeah.
The number one
fisherman.
It's a mermaid.
I want to be like my dad. Oh,
a mermaid.
A mermaid?
That's what the number one costume is.
Oh, it's because all their fathers are fishermen, and they're all telling them
about the mermaids.
But like,
So yeah, I don't know if I
know it ain't cheating.
These are all by state. We're not gonna go through every state.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna go through the weird states, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's just do the one that we're from, California. What do you think it is?
No fucking idea. I'm not gonna have any good guess on any of these.
It's Fortnite. You play Fortnite?
I've never played it. Well, but that's because I don't pay for Xbox.
It's on your phone too.
It's a cheaper version, and it's not as cool.
I can't play it on my phone. I've tried.
I've never done it on my phone, but I always hear the reviews on it.
Now that I started playing video games more, I was like, well, if I could play a video game on my phone, it's not good.
It's not the same experience as on with a controller.
Florida, everything's weird in Florida.
Oh yeah, what's there?
Fortnite.
SoundCloud rapper.
Fortnite,
dude, that's what we should have been as SoundCloud rappers.
That would be a solid Halloween. If you haven't figured out what you're gonna wear for Halloween, you found out right here on Maximum Chillage that you want to be a SoundCloud rapper.
It could be an existing SoundCloud rapper or your own version of a wild as fuck SoundCloud rapper. Whatever you think, whatever face tats you want.
I wonder how many people are going to be Post Malone this Halloween.
Tons.
You and I just saw Post Malone look like at Yard House the other day.
Yeah.
I was almost, if he wasn't so fucking buff, I would have sworn it was him.
He was a buff Post Malone.
Yeah, it was.
Not a buff Post Malone, just a fit Post Malone.
I don't know if that's like a thing right now.
I think that's a popular girls' costume because I've seen a lot of girls copy Post Malone as their costume this year.
A lot of these are all Fortnite. A lot of the states. I'm going to talk about the states that aren't because I didn't even notice this till right now. And I'm going to try to figure out why. In the District of Columbia, Spider-Man beat out Fortnite, and I would want to know why. Why do you think that is?
What's the sociological reason?
Yeah, there's got to be some reason why they would choose Spider. Is it because they need saving?
No, well, they're in an urban.
They need a hero.
They're in an urban place that has buildings, and that's the only place.
Oh
that
yeah,
they
then
could
why is New York
Spider-Man.
fucking Fortnite?
Oh, gross, man.
You would think, right?
All these kids, man.
South Dakota,
Ooh.
Spider-Man.
Well, Spider-Man's fucking cool, man.
But in Utah, unicorn.
I think I read that Spider-Man's sales and merch and shit, like, everybody thinks of Batman as, like, the number one hero, but that Spider-Man's consistently oversold Batman, like, merch for, like, years, like, decades. I don't know how real that is, but I remember reading that once.
Vermont just goes, like, off the fucking charts here. They're not even, this is not even on the top 50.
Well, I mean, if you're raising sheep in Vermont, you think about the world a different way.
Monster.
Just a regular monster?
Monster.
That's because they exist there. They're the ones eating the sheep.
In Oregon, dinosaurs.
Like any dinosaur?
Just dinosaur in general.
What about that T-Rex thing? That was pretty big last year.
The inflatable T-Rex?
Yeah, that came out, and it seemed to be a big hit wherever I saw them.
It's a funny costume, I guess.
It is.
It depends on what you're doing in it.
You know what?
If you put a child in it that's like kind of stumbling, it's funny. If you put a child, like a teenager who's like really good at dancing, that's also funny.
You see, I feel like they don't see the potential of that costume. Like, you could be just a regular T-Rex, or you could be a T-Rex that has an added like monocle and fucking top hat and a little cane to carry around.
Or you could be the T-Rex. See, I would appreciate it if it was a T-Rex dressed like the band T-Rex from the 70s. If they somehow figured it out, and I'm like, are you T-Rex from the 70s?
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's next level thinking, and that's why I'm saying that's why it's like obscure, and I'm like, I appreciate that you went through that extra thought there.
I think like going back to like some classic ones that are like not obscure, but like I can see this over and over and over again, and I would never get tired of it. Wayne and Garth.
Oh yeah.
As girls do a really good job
girls
of being.
Do a better version of it
they have
than
long
guys.
hair already, so if there's a blonde and a brunette one, Wayne and Garth are just fucking great. Whenever I see that, I'm like, yes. And I usually see one at least once a year. So we're talking about these.
I feel like I see Garth more than I see Wayne.
I don't know. Maybe because it's easier to. Garth had more style when you think about it.
Yeah, he did.
He had the flannel.
Yeah.
His hair was actually done. It was like kind of like he had some.
Got those classic glasses
he had
on there.
Tees in his hair, glasses.
Yeah, man.
I feel like he was a better character too.
Yeah, carry around some drumsticks. It's a lot easier than carrying around a guitar.
Yeah. I mean, I have that red guitar that would be a great Wayne Campbell guitar.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest with you. Yeah. I think I tried to do that last year. I have a Wayne Campbell jersey, like a Blackhawks-esque jersey.
I feel like I remember you doing this one year.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I'm just a fat Mexican bearded version. Just doesn't work, you know? That's why I think that's why the women do a good job.
I saw some body positive account that was just like, hey, you could cosplay whatever you want. Doesn't matter what gender you are, what ethnic you are.
I would have loved if somebody would have said, hey, I get it. You're a fucking...
You're a fat Mexican, Wayne.
I like the subtlety. No, they're like, are you Kevin Smith?
Oh, fuck.
I would have fucking died if somebody called me. I wonder how many people dress like Kevin Smith.
Oh, dude, I think I'm going to do it now.
You should.
Just some big jean shorts.
Fucking
hockey jersey.
I was telling you last year that I wanted to do this, and I almost did. I think you should be Fat Mac from It's Always Sunny for Halloween.
Oh yeah, no, I could pull off Fat Mac.
Just put on a fucking wife beater and a Hawaiian shirt over it. Comb your hair back.
I'm basically there, man. I mean, yeah, you know.
That would be a really good. That's a really good costume.
Right now, and I'll tell you why. I am the exact proportions of him. The actor is 5'9". I'm about 5'9".
Yeah.
And the weight that he gained is the weight that I am. The weight that where we were like, oh shit, he gained a lot of weight for that role. And everybody's like, oh yeah, he's Fat Mac this season. And it's like, well, how heavy is he? I'm going to Google that. And I'm like, oh
man, when I Googled that, I was real disheartened.
That is my weight right now.
You start looking at yourself in the mirror. Do I really look like that guy?
Yeah. I mean, you know, because you see Fat Mac there and you're like, whoa, he is kind of a little heavy set. And then you're like, oh, I guess I am too. Whoa, when did that happen? Fuck.
You should do a Fat Mac costume.
Maybe that'll
really
be easy
good
to do. I could do that by Wednesday.
I really wish I was just a short, white, bald man, so I could be Danny DeVito every year.
No, you know what? I saw
Danny DeVito as Post Malone.
Actually, I saw a really good version of the Penguin done right, but the guy was probably like 6'2".
Oh shit!
You know, slim 6'2" guy, but he like did all the padding to make himself heavier, and you know had the one piece suit, and and all the good makeup to make himself look like Batman Returns.
Yeah,
Penguin.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, all he has to do is walk with a hunch, and people would just appreciate it.
If I had all the money in the world, just not all the money in the world. If I would have won the Powerball.
Yeah.
If I would have won the Powerball.
Oh man, I was crushed tonight when I didn't.
Tonight? It was yesterday.
You're talking about Mega Millions?
Oh, okay.
Powerball was tonight.
Oh, okay.
Mega Millions was the $1 billion. Tonight was the $680 million.
I've been playing. How much did you spend on that?
$6.
That's a scary story there.
$6.
That's a Halloween story. I spent collectively $40 trying to win $1 billion.
Serious?
Yeah, I bought $20 ticket on Friday.
Whoa.
Bought another $20 ticket. I had a lady verbally commit to giving me $1 million if she won. I was like, "You're gonna give me $1 million if you win, right?"
Well, yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, sure. When do we meet?" I was like, "Meet right here tomorrow when you win." She's like, "All right."
Oh, you don't know this person at all?
No,
okay.
I just met her in the store while I was sitting there trying to buy one.
Mm-hmm.
If I had the money though, I think I would be Arnold Schwarzenegger, circa Mr. Freeze.
Oh, like the full-on metal?
The full-on Mr. Freeze.
Like it lights up blue?
Yeah.
Like you press the little power button he had on his chest?
I would, if I could afford it.
Would you have the gun too? You have to have the gun.
I would go to the gym 6 months, a year in advance to be able to fit in the actual suit that I know exists somewhere in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
And get that gun too.
Hey, I'm sure there's a really decent replica.
It's time to chill.
Hey. Everybody freeze. cool out. I wish I was just stoned writing that movie, dude. I would come up with the exact same script. I mean, it's a terrible horseshit script.
I mean, if you go back to that, is that Batman Forever or Batman Beyond?
That is Batman Beyond.
If you go back to that movie, you watch the scene where he's like introduced. There's people like on rollerblades, like synchronized dancing on rollerblades.
Yeah. Wait, I was just thinking about it. That's correction. Batman Beyond, I think, is the cartoon.
Okay, so it's Batman Forever.
It was Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and I think that's Batman and Robin.
Okay.
Even though that never made sense to me because Batman and Robin is actually Batman Forever, and the fourth one is also the introduction of Batgirl. So
maybe I would be the Chris O'Donnell Robin.
Just like on the momotorcycle though, not even in the suit. Just on the motorcycle, you have the helmet that has the Robin.
I'm at a bar and somebody's like, "Are you Chris O'Donnell?"
With a leather jacket. And yeah, man, that'd be sick.
That's what you live for. Just people recognizing your obscure fucking references. Okay, so we've talked about good shit. Yeah. What we would do if we had money, or like all the good shit. Actually, I'll talk about one more because I almost bought it today. I went to the Halloween store today. The Halloween stores are actually like litty right now because they're in old Toys R Us's and Babies R Us's. Yeah. They're fucking huge.
Yeah.
So I went one that's inside of a Babies R Us today.
Yeah.
Giant ass fucking thing, almost too big to like where they don't have enough things to cover it.
Yeah, there's some sparse areas.
Like it was a good idea, and they're like, "Man, this would be a fucking badass thing."
Yeah.
It wasn't that cool. Something that I wish that they would have had that I looked up even when I was a younger kid. They have the Misfit Fiend mask.
Oh, really?
It's only $16. I was thinking about buying it, but I was like, when am I going to wear it? I'm going to wear it once.
Just go there after Halloween and buy it for $4.
Yeah, because nobody's going to buy it. Those all four that they had in stock were still there. I thought that was a cool mask, though.
I mean, it's cool just to have. You know? I mean, because that's actually taken from an old horror movie, so it's cool. I mean, if you just did the old horror movie with the robe and everything, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. So let's get to it. Offensive costumes. What's offensive to you?
Okay. Now this is touchy waters here.
Well, I don't want to get too touchy with this.
No. It is though, because for me, I almost think nothing's offensive, and there's at some point though where it's just like, oh shit, no, you did cross the line. Now that's offensive. Like most of the time, I can't think of an offensive thing. Like some people would say, dressing up as a Rastafarian is, a cultural appropriation type thing, and it's, somebody's culture, you shouldn't be wearing it. But, if I'm dressing up as a Rastafarian with a big old joint in my hand, I feel like it's not, it's a parodied version of something. It's not like saying all Rastafarians are this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not woke enough yet, dude.
Well, Megan Kelly got in trouble for this the other day because she, on air, was kind of defending, like, blackface.
Oh, well, dude, okay.
She was saying, when I was a little kid, you could do it. But
no, okay, here's the thing. Blackface has a history of being used in that sense.
A derogatory sense.
Derogatory or putting down a culture.
Yeah.
Now, when it's not done in jest or, like, that's the fine line. Like, it's like, where's the sincerity of the jest?
So what about, like,
an
Indian princess? Like,
honestly,
Native American princess.
Yeah, okay, is it woke? No, I don't think it's the worst thing to do, and I don't think people need to cry foul. Like, yeah, there's, like, it's part of the whole thing, like, you want our culture, not our struggle type thing. And, I get the sentiment behind it, but at the same time, like, okay, an example. That I don't think is the worst thing. People showing up to Cleveland Indian games in red face, that's fucking too far. Like, that is like, okay, that's like the exact same thing as blackface.
For me, like a Latino person, I don't get offended if I see a kid dressed up as Coco.
What about a white kid? What about like some white bro dude in a poncho and he's carrying around a little guitar and he's got a big sombrero? Like, is that offensive?
No, that's fine. But then if you add like a sign that says "I'm lazy," that's when you cross the line. Or maybe like you have to have a bottle of tequila with you.
Is that bad?
I think so.
With the tequila?
I think so.
But you're just partying. You just want a tequila.
Well, maybe if it's your tequila.
Well, I'm just saying.
If it's your bottle that you're holding onto personally, you're a champion. But if you have an empty bottle and you have you're just carrying it as a prop, then not so much.
Okay, so I don't know. You see, it's dicey. And here's the other thing. It's like, I feel like if you are comfortable wearing this in front of that said culture,
yeah,
it's not offensive. If you feel uneasy because you're like, whoa, that's the part of me.
I think if you have to ask yourself, is this offensive? It's probably offensive.
Yeah. But a lot of the people that wear these types of costumes don't regularly ask themselves that or self-examine, and I hate using the word woke over and over. I use it as a comical sense most of the time. But, they don't re-examine how up-to-date they are with society standards, like most people don't. They live with the standards they grew up with, and they don't re-examine it throughout their lives. And so, I don't know. Those people probably would never ask, is this offensive?
You know what's weirdly offensive to me?
What's that?
Really weirdly offensive.
Yeah.
Because you know that I'm not a religious guy.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You think Jesus Christ?
No, that one's not offensive to me.
Oh, okay.
That's actually not offensive.
Sexy nuns?
Sexy nuns, pregnant nuns, and then the nun and the father that are together kind of.
Man. I don't find it offensive. You
want
to know why?
Weird to me.
The nuns that are pregnant,
nice ladies.
They're just
the nuns are such nice ladies.
You're thinking too shallow on the costume of the pregnant nun. They're carrying Jesus' second coming because they are impregnated with a virginal birth, a virginal pregnancy. So you're just not thinking far enough into the thing. And as far as the sexy nuns things, that's just porn parody, man. And you can't. I mean, that's another thing.
I've never seen a sexy nun porn.
I'm sure, dude. You don't think that exists?
Oh, I'm sure it does, but it's not like just a regular thing you see.
I think it is a regular thing.
Like a regular thing is like the school. You're in school girl. For some reason.
Okay,
they're always in school.
Okay,
they always need their permission slips signed.
Okay, now isn't that worse in a sense? Because it's kind of, as far as wokefulness, isn't that fetishizing youth and, an idea of somebody that's underage and naive and impressionable to your wills and man. I feel like that's more offensive than a sexy nun costume.
That's pretty offensive. I've never thought about it, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't put myself in positions where I see those kinds of costumes anymore. I don't really go out for Halloween or anything. So when I do see things, it's like children in Halloween costumes.
I don't want to know. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. The big thing I'm doing this Halloween is going to a Catholic school carnival, the style that we used to have.
Hey, speaking of those,
yeah,
you know what the most disgusting
really
game was when we were
I'll tell you what the coolest game was. Oh, I know what the one you're talking about, bobbing for apples.
Dude,
it's disgusting.
Fucking just gross.
Yeah.
I have a memory of myself bobbing for apples, and I was the disgusting person in there not realizing it. Because I remember going after this one apple, and I can remember it starts making your mouth salivate.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember my salivating mouth in there.
Do it anymore.
I can remember the bubbles from my salivation.
It's one of those things that old white men are just like, I remember the day we used to bob for apples and it was nobody's business.
Nobody had to pass those mono and all his herpes and... No, but I remember clasping onto an apple and almost getting it. My teeth marks were in it. And I lost it in the thing, and I went for a different apple and got it. So someone eventually got my apple that already had the teeth marks.
Where the fuck does this game even come from? I would like
to.
We'll have a whole fucking episode on bobbing for apples and the history of it.
In the early 1900s, or not 1900s, early 1700s, apples were a commodity used for trade with the natives and for corn, and it brought a lot of corn. It brought a good feast to the table.
The cakewalk is my favorite fucking game.
Yeah,
that game is
man.
The best, dude.
Good memories of good cakes that I won over the years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man.
Like, and
it only costs you like a quarter to get in.
It's a quarter. You have a good likelihood of winning. You always win. I always win the cakewalk.
I always win cakewalks, man.
I feel like it's rigged so that everybody wins.
Well, I think sometimes they just get overzealous in baking, whichever organization it is. Like, we can't get rid of all these cakes. How are we going to do that? Just make it a quarter. We're still going to make money. It's all donated anyways. Just get rid of them. I also felt bad for whatever cake or plate of cupcakes
didn't get picked
because it was the worst looking one.
Actually in that documentary I was talking about last week, they were saying how churches started the haunted houses. It was like a church organization.
Yeah.
To me, I love these like Catholic fucking harvest festivals that they have, because I mean I went to them every fucking year when I was a child.
Yeah. And I think that was also because it was heavily promoted, because we were good Catholic boys in catechism, and they promoted the shit out of that for us.
I loved it.
Yeah,
you got a lot of fucking candy.
I did
came
too.
home with a cake.
Also, but it wasn't on Halloween either.
No, it was like on a Wednesday or something.
Yeah.
Well, like this one's going to be on a Saturday. Halloween's on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that. I'm actually going to I'm going to crash a Halloween pub crawl.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want to pay the $20. And
what do you mean?
It's a $20 entry fee for the pub crawl.
I've never heard of an entry fee for pub crawls.
Yeah, right?
Well, you know what? I think I was part of one that was
wristband.
like $7 for the wristband.
Yeah.
But that's just to get the drink specials. You can go along and just not get the drink specials.
Yeah, I'm not going to get the drink specials.
I mean, honestly, because I don't really drink hard liquor anyways, and most of them are hard liquor drinks.
That's how I figured it.
And I honestly think they watered down the drink specials.
Oh, this one last year? They didn't, dude. Like, it was like I don't know if they didn't know what they were doing, but they were making a margarita, like a Frankenstein margarita or a monster margarita.
Yeah.
And I saw them making it, and it was just like, put a whole bunch of fucking this and a whole bunch of fucking that. And it was strong as shit. And it was super cheap. But I don't think there's enough, like, attendance that they're going to check the wristbands.
For sure.
So I'm going to be like, I'm going to have a long sleeve. I'm with the fucking, that thing. There's my mask right here.
You're gonna talk just like that.
Yeah, the fucking.
They're just like cutting you off because they're like, this guy's too far gone.
Oh, sorry, I had some of that fucking jungle juice over there.
Jungle juice was the best drink at parties.
I feel like that jungle juice is like a Halloween fucking party drink.
I don't think no, I never had it on Halloween, but it was just like, oh, somebody made some jungle juice over there, and it was like, what?
You did a pub crawl not too long ago, right?
I was just
crashed one too.
Yeah, well, actually, I didn't mean to go because I was getting out of work later than it started, and I went to a different bar that wasn't really involved with the pub crawl, and me and the homie Miguel just decided to let's go see what's going on, and it was cool, man. I mean, I just caught the tail end of it.
Shout out to the homie Miguel. Actually, one of those the best and worst costume ideas was his idea for us. I was meaning to. Give people shout outs.
Give people shout outs
for those things. So that was the homie Miguel. Pablo K.A. He's the guy who wanted to know about offensive costumes, what you think is offensive, and what's crossing the line. So shout out to him. Sorry, I just really wanted to do that.
No, definitely we need a shout out, man.
You're just talking about middle. Continue.
Was that all the shout outs?
That's so far.
So far. Okay. What was I talking about? Jungle juice?
You were talking about how you crashed the pub crawl.
Nothing really happened. I mean, it was a cool pub crawl though. I mean, I saw some cool costumes on, at the tail end, even though some of them weren't like, it was a zombie pub crawl. Like they always do it in October. It's not on Halloween though, so that you kind of still have some more Halloween later. I wish I could take part in Halloween this year. This Saturday is, the Saturday before Halloween. It's usually when Tower District is most poppin' for Halloween shit and Halloween costumes. It's always that Saturday and the actual day of Halloween. Well, the reason I'm not dressing up is because that day I'm going to be going to my sister's wedding.
Which should have been a Halloween-themed wedding.
No, man, that'd be fucking lame.
To be honest.
No, I only know one man that wanted a Halloween-themed wedding with his shitty-ass high school band reuniting for it. And, that's how I know that it's a terrible idea.
He wanted to get married on Halloween, too.
Yeah, he did. He got close. His anniversary is around this time. I think it's the 27th. I think it says Saturday. So he will share the same anniversary as my sister.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Halloween Day, I've been off all week, and I just decided
for your
to take
sister's
some time
wedding.
For my sister's wedding, getting shit ready for it, and also just fucking I don't know, man. I had some extra hours that I needed to get rid of, and that they were trying to make me get rid of, and so I just basically needed to go on vacation. And so the day that I go back though is going to be Halloween Day, and I don't get out till fucking 11 o'clock. So I like either being home early enough to pass out candy, because I fucking dig it, man. I fucking dig whether I'm in costume or not and handing out candy to kids, or actually being in tower and just having fun.
What kind of candy do you give out? The cheap shit or the good shit?
Here's the thing.
This is how
I get one bag of the good shit.
Okay.
But I bulk that shit up. I bulk that shit up with the cheap big bag. Also good shit, but it's cheaper. High chews. You like that shit?
No, they're good.
Those are fucking good.
Yeah, they're good.
A third of the price. A third of the price of the bag of the good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, the bag of the good stuff is $12 or $15.
Expensive.
The high chews bag with the same amount of candy
at Costco. I went over there.
They were $12.99 for the big bags.
The good shit though.
It's the good shit, but it's $12.99 for that, $15.99 for the other one, and the high chews are on sale for $5.20, and it's just mix that shit into a big bowl so you can give a couple candies out at a time. Also, go to Winco. They got it's good shit. It's just generic, but they're actually cooler. You'll get a ball.
Yeah.
It's got the caramel inside.
Balls.
But the ball of chocolate
great.
is wrapped in an eyeball.
Popcorn balls.
No.
I used to love people who give me the popcorn balls.
About,
yeah,
dude?
I know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the eyeballs, the little Frankenstein toe, the fucking other weird shit.
That crazy Winco shit.
The crazy Winco shit. You just
either
scoop it or unleash a latch and fill a bag, and they charge it by weight, and that shit's always
I think the ultimate status symbol. You like giving out that candy, right?
Yeah.
You're always gonna like doing it. Yeah. And I feel like parents who have kids in school get off on what they're giving up or what they're giving at their house. They meet up and talk about it, and it's yeah, fuck, you know what? Fuck fucking that kid Frankie's dad. Motherfuckers out here flexing, giving full-size candy bars.
Dude, no, again, I'm at the door and I hear people all day, and the full-size candy bars are on sale right now.
Yeah. Oh.
So people buy boxes of it, and I
flex and do that.
Here's the thing: I'm from Sanger.
If I could be dressed up like Post Malone and flex by giving those,
I'd be like, you know what? Wait a second, kid. Let me get you a good candy for this costume. No, but when I see people with a cart full of boxes of those full-size candy, my immediate thought is that they're fucking, I don't know, but I know that it's $4 off right now. But my first thought is, they're fundraising. That's my first thought. But then I don't realize that some of these people are hella flexing, and they are just, that's what they give out. That's what they give out, bro. I could, the Steinhauer in me and all of its coupon clipping savings over the years just does not agree to give out a full-size candy bar to a kid, man.
I remember those fucking houses, dude, where you're like, they do the fucking full-size candy.
Dude, I never saw one.
Oh, man. Over by my area of town.
Yeah.
That's where they would give those.
Yeah.
And I did a full payday one year. You never got lucky and got 2 of those houses. It was usually just one house. It was actually a house that, I don't know, I think they invested in all the props from the Ghostbusters movies.
Sick.
Because they would put them all in front of their house and play the same fucking song over and over and over. And it seemed like too much work to just put out a fake replica. I really think it was authentic shit.
Yeah.
And then they backed it up by giving you a payday. So
I dig it, man. I dig it. Hey, shout out to all those that actually put some effort into their yards. That also really made Halloween for me as a kid.
Yeah.
Just even just the build up, just being driven to school in the daytime and just oh shit, do you see that yard?
Yep.
In my head it was that is cool, I want to go there, even though most of the time I never went there on Halloween.
I love anybody who puts in effort. Fog machines and black lights and strobe lights
Oh, yeah.
That was the shit. With the music playing, if you had music playing,
hey, you know what?
A creepy fucking music.
The Steinhauers had that. My dad really liked having this Halloween tape that he would play, and I think one year we might have had a fog machine. But here's the thing: my sister, also my mom would make these costumes for her. Like it would be like one year it was like this plant monster that she hid in the shrubbery and by the candy bowl, and little unsuspecting kids would come up to the steps, and then bam, that fucking monster grabs their hand, and kids would be scared. Adults would be scared sometimes. One year she just sat on this bench just with the bowl in her lap, and she had this really cool mask. My mom took a hockey mask and put a stocking over the hockey mask and then splattered paint on it, and it was weird. And she had this hooded robe over that, and she would just sit there still as fuck, with this candy there, and then the kids would reach into the bowl after 5 minutes of hesitation, and their parents saying, "No, go get it, go get the candy," and then bam, they'd get scared as fuck. Fucking, I want to know how many people she scarred over that, but it's also just part of Halloween. You gotta just do it.
I was watching another documentary, completely unrelated, but it was reminding me of that, going up to people's strangers' houses.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. You go up to strangers' house and they're giving you shit to eat.
Yeah,
and there's always been that myth, that urban legend, that there's razor blades,
candy apples, and razor blades,
and there's fucking poison, and all of this shit. Do you know where all of that stemmed from?
I imagine some creep in the 60s.
Around then, I'm gonna very, very loosely paraphrase this story. So some guy calls 911 and says, "Hey, my kid's fucking puking. All my kids are puking. They're puking up blood." And then they're like, "Oh shit, yeah, we'll get there. Hold on." So they get there, kids die. I don't know if they die in the hospital or what. And then the dad's like, "Yeah, I think somebody poisoned them via candy."
I see what's going on here.
So then they put out, check your candy, there's poison, throw away all your candy. The dad fucking poisoned the kids. He wanted their life insurance money.
It's a good con.
It's not.
As long as you don't have anything in the household that traces it back to you.
I don't know how they traced it back to him. Look it up. It's like a myth show. Look it up. It's a great myth. It's a great story about how it started pandemonium, and now that's why your parents always have to check your fucking candy, which means they're just gonna eat all the good shit.
Which, but and that's also harsh because there are legit old people that make brownies to give out or candy apples.
I don't think I was ever allowed to have that kind of stuff.
No, neither am I. I mean, when I was a kid, I was never allowed for that shit. But
your parents ate it though.
I'm just saying, if they made those popcorn balls or anything like that,
delicious popcorn balls, dude. They're just the best.
I'm just saying, I definitely wasn't allowed to eat it, and it's because of shit like that.
Yeah, and it wasn't even true.
All those little old ladies think, "Oh, these kids, they love these. I do this every year," not knowing that 70 to 90% of that gets thrown out as soon as they go to the next house.
Oh yeah, and then the worst thing is, be going to an affluent neighborhood, then you run the risk of going to a doctor or dentist house.
Dude, did you ever get something like that?
Yeah, I got fucking
floss.
I got a toothbrush.
Did you ever get pennies?
Never.
That's a thing.
Why?
Old people, they're like, "Oh, just give the kids some money.
That's
they like it."
dude.
Not realizing that it's the kid doesn't care that they got pennies, man. They get 2 pennies at the end of their bag.
I've never seen that.
That's a thing.
You got it?
I never got it. Mostly I went to the city
one of those
funded.
Is it like
shit.
a legend, like the fucking poison?
No, it's not. I know that's one of the things that people criticize about this, along with people who hand out floss, they give out pennies to kids.
That's weird.
It's but 1 penny a person. You go to the bank earlier, you get $15 in pennies. That goes a long way.
I'm already imagining this. I'm already imagining me being a kid, and I always go to this lady's house, and I always fucking hate this lady because I always hope that she's gonna have candy. But every year she gives me 2 pennies.
Oh man, she gives me 2 quarters though. I'm going to the arcade next week.
And then
play Metal Gear Solid at at the corner, or what was that? What was that fucking lame store that had the arcade games in downtown?
Know. It's my last year of trick or treating. I'm getting too old. This is gonna be the last year. This is my story.
I thought you meant currently.
No, it's the last year I'm ever gonna do it. I'm getting tired of it, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta go see fucking Agnes. I gotta go get my 2 fucking pennies. I go ring the doorbell. Agnes fucking died, and I'm not getting my pennies. And all those years of making fun of her.
It's like, wow, I'm sad.
Yeah.
I was gonna egg her house next year, and now I'm not because she won't see it.
It's just those are the kind of things that you miss on Halloween. I miss going to the Ghostbusters house.
I do miss horror movies as a kid because, as much as I don't generally like most horror movies now, I loved them as a kid.
You have any suggestions for the people? They'll hear this tomorrow. They'll hear this Friday.
Yeah.
A few days before Halloween. What's going to get them in the mood? Last week you said Terrifier, which actually I watched Terrifier.
Yeah.
So I went to the Halloween store today, as I said. I'm in the section. The person that I'm with is looking at a clown costume, and he says, "Do you have that one, but in an adult size?" And the kid's like, "Jen, he's not being an asshole at all. He's just,
yeah.
This is his job. he's a seasonal employee, man."
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, I don't know, man. Maybe check the adult section." So we're like, all right. And he's like, that costume right there, that's just like the Terrifier costume. Looked nothing like it. He's like, "Have you seen Terrifier?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, I did see it. Pretty terrible movie." And he's like, "Oh man, that's a gory movie." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty gory." He's like, "I had to fast forward through all the scary parts."
Whoa.
So I'm like, "What the fuck were you watching?"
You're an adult?
He was an adult. He was probably 18, 19.
But still.
What is he watching? The whole thing.
He's
just watching.
I was kind of into the gory scenes just because it was like really campy,
Some of them made me wonder, is that really,
movies.
Could you really do some of those things? Like when he
starts
sawing her in half.
Through the girl in half like that. No, with just a bone saw?
Yeah.
Nah, but if he's got some like magic powers.
It wasn't a bone saw, it was a hacksaw.
Hacksaw, bone saw, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Did you ever watch Spider-Man with the wrestler named Bonesaw?
No.
That's the saw he
had.
Yeah,
okay.
It's the bone saw. Yeah, man. I mean, also, if you just go in asking for a bone saw like that,
If you still haven't watched Terrifier, if you decided that you weren't going to watch it, you should probably watch it. I watched it. I gave it a chance.
It gets me in the Halloween mood, man.
Is
it a Martin Scorsese?
No.
It's not. But it's just good fucking campy horror, and that's what Halloween's about.
I would suggest watching it at like maybe 2 a.m. when you're like half like tired already and you're kind of like delirious.
Just take a little hit, and put on the Terrifier. Just try to.
Honestly, if you did take a little hit and watch the movie, it'd be kind of scary.
Oh yeah.
What's your suggestion this week?
It
doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have
just
to be
ultimate. It doesn't have to be scary.
Ultimate
What's
horror.
gonna get you there? What's gonna get you to that Halloween spirit?
I don't know, man. I kind of like. I shit the bucket on this one, man. I did not. I just got too busy to where I couldn't watch the movies that I wanted to, and
I mean, you still have time.
Yeah,
to do
you
it
still
for
have
that.
time. You know what? While you talk for a minute, I'm going to pull up a list of some of them were on my list of movies, and I mentioned that the homie Marco, a horror movie connoisseur, suggested some of these movies to me, and I'm going to click on this list. So some of these movies were already on my list, and It Follows looked interesting as fuck. A Ghost Story, no idea what it is. Under the Skin, don't know. The Witch, I've already talked about that on this show.
Have you ever watched The Babadook?
No, I never did.
I was looking up like scary, like ultimate scary movies, and that thing has like a 90% on like Rotten Tomatoes.
It's because critics are all depressed people, and the movie's really about depression. No lie, that's what it is.
Okay,
that's what it is.
Okay.
I haven't seen it. It's not your typical horror movie. It's one of the horror movies that are supposed to, break the genre in a sense. And yeah, so I haven't seen it yet. That was also on my list to watch, to talk about. Heredity, I heard Mother is really good. Of course, Blair Witch, just because that's old
That's
school.
written by Glenn Danzig, right?
As well. Which one?
Mother.
I heard that it's great.
By Danzig.
Oh, but Let Me In. Now I watched that. That's a remake, like a shot-for-shot remake of like a Dutch film, and that one's really good. I liked it. It came out in 2010, and it's decently scary. I think at different parts. Arrival. I feel like that's more of a sci-fi movie. Don't Breathe. I'd never heard of it. Annihilation. Now I didn't agree with The Fourth Kind because I did not like that movie. Phoenix Forgotten and The Conjuring are also on his list of movies I should have watched this season to talk about on the podcast, but I just didn't get around to it. But shout out Marco if you're listening. Thanks for the list. I'll definitely get around to watching them by next year in case we're still doing this and we still have a list. And yeah.
We have nothing better to do. We're going to be doing this.
You know that. I know that.
So, something that I've always wanted to do, and you know this. I've always wanted to. Let's back it up here. Yeah. We're at that hour mark.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about the hour mark.
Start to dig in a little bit.
Start to dig in.
Get a little comfortable.
This is still a Halloween podcast, mind you, and we'll get to the scary shit in a second. I think the Maximum Chillage podcast is too broad of a podcast.
That's an uncomfortable conversation.
This is Michael's baby or something because he does not like having this conversation.
I don't want to talk about. Just let the kid grow up to be the individual he is. Don't you force anything on this kid, Chewy. I don't want this kid going to prep school. Being some fucking drone corporate tool later. I want this kid to be wild and an individual and like paint shit with their hands into their 50s and like fucking listen to jazz records and fucking smoke clove cigarettes when they're 16.
So I want to niche down. I don't know what our niche is. Michael and I are very fucking different when it comes to like lights. And believe it or not, Mike and I are like, we're really great. We're great friends. But when it comes to like similarities, we kind of grew apart as we grew older. So we used to have a lot more in common.
Yeah, but think of how shitty that podcast would be if we were like teenagers into the same shit. Just like, Tim Armstrong is so cool, man. Yeah, fuck it. But who's cooler, Tim Armstrong or, fucking
Lars Fredrickson?
It's like, but are we even going to talk about Mike Ness?
Are we?
I don't know, man.
Are we going to just pretend like the Misfits are the same right now?
I mean, yeah. So, teenage Mike and Chewy on the podcast would be very niche and one-sided, and I don't think it would have been good.
Are we gonna pretend like second wave ska isn't better than first wave? Are we gonna pretend like Real Big Fish isn't the best band that's ever come out? So, like, but when it comes to like niche things, I actually listen to a lot of podcasts myself. I almost exclusively only listen to horror podcasts.
But those are done to death. And of course we wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that, but that's what brings me to the next subject. I like horror podcasts. I've always wanted to start a horror podcast. Well, oddly enough, I don't like horror movies or anything, but I love scary stories. Scary stories fucking get me.
You seem to watch a lot of documentaries.
I do watch a lot of documentaries on a lot of things.
I know. A lot of our conversation lately has been, I was watching this documentary.
I watch a lot of documentaries. I really like them. This is not a documentary, although I probably will try to look up a documentary about this. Michael Briones. You might know him as Mighty. He suggested that we talk about this on the podcast today. It's the legend of the Bunny Man. Now, Mighty told me this story. We'll edit that in.
Can we edit that in?
We can do it.
Okay. By the way, that wasn't my actual laughter earlier. They're just very similar laughs.
Urban legends. You know any good ones? You ascribe to any of them? There's a good one in this town.
In this town? About the lady?
Snake Road.
Snake Road.
Basically, if you want to know the legend of Snake Road. Yeah, Snake Road is just La Llorona.
Yeah.
I like urban legends, though.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool. And Mikey used to be, like, super into scary stories. And I remember this one that he told me, and it was about the Bunny Man. And it sounds ridiculous. So, the Bunny Man is a thing in Virginia. Fairfax, Virginia. So often when urban legends. The stories, there's like half truths in them. So there's super like a lot of variations of this one.
Because it's like telephone. Everybody tells their own version of it.
Yeah. So here's the first version of it. So for 4 decades, the legend of the Bunny Man has captivated North Virginians' fear seekers. Conley first heard the story. I don't know who Conley is. I'll just I'll go down here. I'll paraphrase it. Basically, I'm not going to try to read this. Basically, in Virginia in the 70s, there was an asylum that they decided to close down. True story. They looked it up. Fact. When they decided to close it down, they had to transfer the people because there's still people in it. While they were transferring them, a bus crashed. Fact. Everybody died in there except for 10 people. That's a fact. Of the 10 people, 9 of them were found. That's a fact. They didn't find one guy. There's one guy that they didn't find. If I happen to see his name while I'm looking at my phone right now, Douglas Griffin. If you want to look him up, Douglas Griffin. They didn't find him. So, around the Virginia area, the Fairfax area, they were starting to find bunnies gutted and hung up in trees. Lots of them. They were starting to see this all over. Cops finally figured out, it's probably that guy. This is kind of weird. There's one guy missing. So they would they followed the bunny trail basically. They didn't find him until the bunnies turned into humans. So then he was hanging up humans in the same way he was hanging up the bunnies. Around this time, people were starting to say that they would see a man. This probably just came from the fact that there was bunnies dressed like a bunny, running around throwing around hatchets. So this throws cops for a loop. They're like, this doesn't go along with anything. There's nobody with hatchet wounds or anything.
Yeah, also, how the fuck does this guy get a hold of so many hatchets? He just came from the fucking mental hospital and crashed and just had the clothes on his back. How does he have all these hatchets?
The story ends with these 2 kids. They're like on make-out point or whatever. They see a guy coming towards them in a bunny costume. They get away. Thus, the legend of the Bunny Man. And now in Virginia, there's like... they never caught the guy.
Yeah.
And now in Virginia, there's like these whole like different variations of this story.
Yeah.
Is
there a movie?
There is.
Ooh.
There's a movie. I think it's called The Bunny Man.
Ooh.
And I think it's like pretty more... It's like they don't stick to the story.
Yeah.
They take the best parts of all the stories.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that movie, but it's not a documentary.
No, but that could be on the Halloween list of things to... I don't know if it's good, but if you could find this movie, it might get you in the Halloween mood.
The Bunny Man.
The Bunny Man.
There was
October.
There was another cool story that I heard when I was a kid, and I'm going to try to remember this. Also from Mighty. It was a story of a father and a son who are driving in... All these stories happen in the East Coast for some reason.
Well, there's just a lot of history there.
I guess. They're driving in an old truck. They're driving in an old truck, and there's a big tree in the road. And they're like, what the fuck? Why is there a big-ass tree in the road? So they're driving, they're like, what the fuck are we going to do about this thing? So they're like, well, we got to move it because we can't like drive over it. We can't go around it. It's like a big-ass fucking tree. So it was obviously not too big to move. So the son watched with the shotgun while the dad like tied it to the truck and like pulled it out of the way.
Fuck, they're already ready, dude.
So they're doing that. Then he's just watching with the shotgun. He gets back in the car. They take off. They looked in the rearview mirror, and a bunch of fucking weirdos go and put the tree right back in the middle of the road, waiting for somebody who doesn't have a shotgun and isn't running reconnaissance.
Oh yeah,
and that's a scary story because it could be true.
Oh yeah,
I like those. The ones that are like,
fuck, we should do that.
What? Fucking put
a tree in the middle of the road, man.
You know what I did always want to do before it was a big thing?
Put the baby car seat on the side of the road and see who goes to it.
Ooh, that's scary.
That was like one of those fake emails about like don't do this and let everybody email everybody.
To this day, I don't flash people.
Gangs are tricking people by putting that's an urban legend. Yeah, the flashing light thing.
To this
too.
day, I won't do it.
And they're putting baby seats there with a fake doll, and when people unsuspecting victims go to check on the baby, they're ambushed by
the clowns.
Gangs. The clowns, yeah, they reemerged after it came out.
Oh, they did.
They did. They disappeared for a while, and it wasn't as popular. But when it came out, people dressed as clowns were coming out again.
So in high school, I really wanted to do this.
Could have done it with my Pennywise suit.
All of our friends, we were all friends. You were all friends with the same people at the same time. When it was there was a light fog out. One of our friends lived out in the country. When there was a light mist out, we wanted to go set up a table.
Yeah.
And all dress like clowns and just sit at the table.
Okay.
And wait for people to pass by and just all look at them as they pass.
Yeah.
I was just scared as shit that the son with the shotgun would run reconnaissance and fucking shoot us.
Well, I don't know how real that one video is, but there is a video like that where this car, stops because the guy's walking towards him slowly, and the one guy gets out with a bat and starts taking it to him. Like, yeah, I mean, I can totally see that happening.
Especially out in the country, people don't take shit.
Yeah, man.
They're like, just fucking hit him.
Yeah. We'd attend one of our friends' funerals over that, and we'd become part of a new urban legend. And
then
every anniversary of that night, he comes back to wave. And it's really just us keeping the urban legend alive as a way to keep the memory of our dead friend alive.
You know what's scary?
What's that?
Even though we said that the Snake Road is just La Llorona, you're not going to catch me dead on Snake Road right now.
Here's the thing. My dad knew that story when he was in high school, and he's just a white dude, and it wasn't about it might have come from that origin. By the way, it's getting its own movie now. Weirdly,
Snake Road?
No, La Llorona.
Oh, okay.
Weirdly, it's going to be released in April. But they're doing a full movie based on that.
So we might as well just explain it. The Legend of Snake Road, we're here in St. California. The Legend of Snake Road goes, there's a windy road out in the country here, not too far from the city, actually. It's a Channel Road. If you go down Channel, it got the name Snake Road because of all the winds and turns on it.
Abrupt turns. You got to go slow.
There's probably been a lot of car accidents on that road.
Yeah.
There's probably been a lot of head-ons and shit. This has nothing to do with that.
One night when we were, I don't know if you were in the car with me, but we were going on Snake Road in October.
Yeah.
We were swerving in and out, and we almost hit people because they were walking Snake Road.
Oh, idiots.
And I recognized one of them.
Oh,
but,
okay.
I mean, yeah, they were trying to just have the same Halloween vibes we were, but on foot rather than in a car.
That's scary.
Easily could have just fucking killed them.
Yeah.
And the person that was driving would have definitely just drove on. And I would have had to try to wash off blood on their car. I would be doing time for my hiding the crime as well as an accomplice. But
so on this road, it said that a lady was actually driving this road. Not too far from it is a canal or a lake.
It's a river.
Or lake. A river.
The Kings River runs through.
The Kings River runs through it. She ran off the road, and the car went into the water. The kids got stuck, and the lady got out. The kids died. She didn't. Or did she too?
Well, you see, it's slightly different from my dad's version, which had nothing to do with kids. It didn't actually explain why she was there. I know that she died on the road, but it didn't explain that one's almost like a direct rip.
Yeah.
My dad would say, if you
don't get good grades, you'll go to Snake Road and die.
Which almost happened. But no, if you were to take a car and you were with your friends, you would leave the passenger seat open, let your friend stay in the back seat. If you were to pass a certain curve on there, she would be standing there, and when you looked back to see where she was, she wouldn't be there, and she'd be on the passenger seat sitting in the car with you.
Haunted Mansion in Disneyland.
Yeah, the don't pick up hitchhikers, and then the mirror. Yeah, that's pretty much. I think it's a don't pick up hitchhikers warning. That's what it is.
There's actually a urban legend in Fresno. Have you ever looked up the most haunted things in Fresno? I mean, I like that kind of shit. So I looked
Hey man, I got some shit to show you. Look,
I don't want to see it.
I don't know.
I don't want to see it unless we're doing it on the podcast.
It's really hilarious.
Okay.
I don't want to talk.
I'm scared myself.
No, I don't want to talk.
Are you all scared right now?
Hey man, that bed looks suspect. I don't know what's under there. Yeah, I'm just glad that I'm leaving this room at some point. No, but fucking, I don't want to talk shit on any local people, but the Paranormal Society, Sanger Paranormal Society.
Don't know who the guy is. You know who he is as a person?
I think my parents know his parents or loosely know him. Odd guy.
Still lives with those parents?
You guys, I don't know. I'm just saying, you guys need to look up Sanger, Sanger, Paranormal Society. Just find some of the videos that are there, and just listen to this guy go on about Bigfoot in our area. And
there's a Bigfoot in our area.
There's a Bigfoot.
Oh, wow.
Oh, dude, they're shutting down land, keeping him away from his investigations. They're keeping people from talking to him about Bigfoot. It's good stuff. I don't know. But what I saw was a weird YouTube channel. And it looks like it's on public access or something. But there's these two people. No, it looks scripted. It looks like a parody of a paranormal channel that you would see on like X-Files, where it's like, oh, these people are fucking full of themselves and ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's this guy. He's in a suit. This weird lady that says that she's not a psychic, but kind of like a medium. Except that's not what she is. She's like a hypnosis, whatever. Fuck, I don't know. They're talking about fairies and wee folk.
Of Chester Bennington.
They're talking. Oh, he'll come back, dude.
Yeah,
he came back on that. If you want to go back to
one of our earlier podcasts, the ghost of Chester Bennington actually visits the podcast.
You know, I feel like suicide jokes are not off the table, but I also do kind of regret making a lot of anti-suicide Chester Bennington jokes on there. I mean, now I'm not because I'm scared of his spirit right now. I'm just saying, suicide's no laughing matter sometimes. The joke's got to be at the right time. And I don't know if in that episode we got it at the right time, but, Anyways.
Somebody commented on that video. That was weird. I don't know who the hell they were.
Yeah, I know.
The ghost of Chester Bennington.
The only way you could keep relevant is making YouTube comments from a ghost account about his subject matter. He's just like haunting us and then writing about it on YouTube. What a weird guy, man.
Well, okay, so you're talking about the Sanger Paranormal Society. You were talking about these two weird people.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, they just talk about wee folk and fucking leprechauns and fairies and how you can legitimately see them. I never got through the video long enough to hear the interview.
I don't want to see those.
Oh, dude, they're everywhere, bro. You got to use the peripherals of your eyes to see them.
Dude.
And you got to be open to the energy. You can even bring an instrument, even maybe a drum. It soothes them.
My dad's friend used to visit
our
house. No, he would visit our house.
Was he a fairyland creature?
No, he was just a cool dude. He was a cool dude, and he would stay in my room when he would come, and I'd sleep in the living room.
Oh, he'd stay in your room when he would come? Gross, dude.
So
childhood trauma.
He'd wake up, true horror. I would wake up, and he would be eating breakfast, and he'd real nonchalantly, I talked to the midget.
Oh,
I'm like, what? Yeah, the midget in your closet.
Oh, fuck.
Like, what? Yeah, the fucking midget. He doesn't talk to you. He talks to me all the time. Every time I come here, he's there. So what are you talking about? I'm like 5, dude.
Yeah.
He's like, the midget.
Yeah, that'll keep you up, man.
I had to keep the light in my fucking closet on for years after that.
And October comes and they start showing you previews of Leprechaun, and you're like, that's the guy.
And every now and then when I still see him, he'll just out of nowhere he'll be eating his dinner. That's right, the midget. And that's scary. That's those WeFo are real. You were like looking off into the distance and scaring me right now.
Oh, dude, I'm trying to see shit in my peripherals, man.
So Katie's from Atwater, California. So we're from Sanger. She's from Atwater. There's a old house.
Shout out 209.
There's an old house there that's like, it's really weird. It's like a house that was supposedly built like way the fuck back when, but they just stuccoed it.
Oh, okay.
It's really fucking ugly. Yeah. Like, I don't know why they did that.
Real gross like that.
Yeah, so it's like an old ass fucking beautiful house. It's like a mansion. And then like sometime like last year or 10 years ago, whatever, they decided to spray it with stucco. It's real fucking ugly.
Idiots.
They put a fucking fence around it. It doesn't look old anymore. She sent me a video like last month saying, "Look, check it out." Like they say this house, the whatever Bloss house, the Bloss house is haunted. They have proof. She doesn't believe in this shit. She's just like sending me like videos, and I'm interested. I'm like, oh shit, hell yeah! I go to the video. The fact that you keep looking at your peripherals is freaking me out.
I'm not even meaning to, bro.
You're too woke.
You gotta stay woke if you want to catch the fairies, man.
That's how you're gonna end up looking like fucking.
There's one right there. That's that guy, dude.
You end up looking like Steve Buscemi, looking at your peripherals.
This old bug-eyed.
She sent me the video of the Bloss house, and it's these guys. Terrible video. Like, looks like they filmed it on VHS. This was made like that same like a day before, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're here at the Bloss house. Got some reports of some paranormal activity. We have our fucking activity or our secret gear here. If you can hand me that thing right there, that white thing right there."
You talking about this?
Yeah, give me that. So Michael's handing me
plugged in.
I unplugged that one.
Oh fuck!
I unplugged the top. This will like a telephone wire. Michael's handing me like a little guitar amp. So imagine a tiny guitar amp with a fucking reverb pedal tied to it with string. The reverb pedal's plugged into the guitar amp, and they're putting it next to the house. And they're like, "May we come in?" And then it's like the SpongeBob ripcord thing. No. They're being completely serious, though. They're like, "Oh, no, fuck, did you hear that? Play it back." And then they play it back to slow motion and goes, "No."
And then you send me that link, I'd appreciate it.
I text her back. I'm like, "That's a cheap amp with a reverb pedal." And she sends back classic ghost hunting equipment. But I love that kind of shit. I don't know. Do you know any other haunted things about this town or I was gonna tell you about the Fresno one.
Oh yeah,
it's called the Tyler House. It's on Tyler Street. There's a Tyler Street in Fresno. I tried looking for it. It's like in the ghetto, like in Fresno. It's like fucking central fucking Fresno as fuck.
I'd imagine it's on Huntington Boulevard or something.
Close
around that area.
It's like towards
I'm just thinking of nice houses and ghettos.
Well, do you know where Fresno City College is?
Yeah.
So if you go past the Rite Aid into that neighborhood, to the right, going
Rite Aid. Oh, wait.
Just the old houses, not in nice houses. So it's Tyler Street house. It's the most haunted place in Fresno. You can't really find a lot of stuff documented online. There's like one person decided to they lived there. And I think they were a teacher or something. And they decided to put up like a really cheap blog spot about it, back when you can like make your own websites, and they're just really bad. It's like a black background with red highlighted lettering. And they were just talking about like what they learned from it, from talking to people. Basically, the Tyler house is an old house where a orphan kid was adopted, but the people who adopted him were just like terrible people. They just beat him to shit and everything, sent him to his room. They'd beat him in his room. They'd lock him up and just not feed him, and then they'd bring him out, and he's just like a little sad kid. They don't know what happened to the kid. They don't know if he died in the house or what, but it's said that in one room of the house, you always hear a kid walking. You just hear like fucking light footsteps, kid walking. And in the closet, they don't know if he had cats or what. you'll always find a dead cat in there. Not like always, but like there's been dead cats more like even if you don't own dead cats, just in that room in the closet, they'll just find them there. And there's been, if you look on the Zillow of that house, people go in and out. Like, it's not normal about how many people buy it and sell it, buy it and sell it, and buy it and sell. Nobody really talks about it. There's not like a lot of documentation of, oh, I left the house because it was haunted. But they are there for a year, they're gone. They're there for a year, they're gone. They're there for 2 years, they're gone. None of the other houses on the block have that kind of high.
Google this.
None of the houses on that block have that much high turnover.
Yeah.
Except for that house. And only that one person like talks about it, and they map it out on like a sketch out map. They're like, this is the room where you hear all this shit. And then they talk about like all the times that they hear it. They're like, this night my daughter came over, her mom, I guess they were like divorced. The mom dropped her off early. She wanted pizza. We were hanging out, and then all of a sudden you just hear stuff in the room. And then they document like what they hear and like what they saw. This night, the fucking, we don't have a cat, but there was a dead cat in there. So that's really scary. That's actually more haunted than like I thought the Kearney Mansion would be. Kearney Mansion is on there, but it's not like the most haunted I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I really wish we lived in like a place where there was like more haunted history. Like when I went to New Orleans, took a haunted tour. Everything's haunted there. It's fucking New Orleans. Like there's like plagues and floods and.
Well, there's just again more history.
It's older, and a lot more people have died there. I guess yellow fever. Do you like that haunted shit?
I mean, I like that haunted shit, but again, this is coming from someone who doesn't believe in anything. So, I like it to the same effect that I like Lord of the Rings. Shit that it has good stories.
Lord of the Rings doesn't fucking move me like this shit does.
I'm just saying they have good stories. I know none of it happened in my mind. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
so at some
you're
point,
weird, dude.
What?
It happened, dude.
Horror stories, ghosts.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe in it.
Oh man.
Hey man, one of the weirdest things that ever happened to me once was when I was home alone, and these guys tried to break into my house. I just thought of Home Alone when I said that. No, I was home alone.
Oh, I thought the guys really started breaking into
No. I was gonna go with.
And you had to take care of them with your straight prejudice.
Yeah, I was just gonna explain the plot line of Macaulay Culkin.
These guys tried to break into the house. I had to ward them off with what I had: a BB gun, marbles, paint cans.
Fucking
got hungry, so I had to order a pizza. Well, my parents weren't there, so I had to put on a movie that sounded like adults.
Yeah. No, I had just had this glass of water.
During the Christmas season, we'll have a whole episode.
I left this
about.
I left this glass on this little island in the kitchen, right? This little table thing, and I left it in the middle.
What year is this?
And I'm talking about like 4 years ago.
Oh, I can imagine
not that long ago. And I was just sitting.
Imagine this island.
I was just sitting in the front
house.
room, and all of a sudden I hear a crash, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And there was a loud fucking sound. There was a loud there was force behind this, right? And I go over to the other room because I'm by myself, and the fucking glass I had set down in the middle of the table was on the fucking floor, But here's the thing. I know that maybe I probably left it on the edge a little closer than I thought.
You knew you put it in the middle.
I said I knew that. But, Chewy, let me tell you about a story. I think I've told you this before. This is what I realize now. When I was a kid, I've told this story to a couple people. I probably told you this before. I was afraid to go to the bathroom. It was in this hallway, not lit well. There was this open bedroom thing there that we didn't use.
You pee your pants a lot as a kid?
Oh, yeah, no.
Did you wet the bed?
I mean, today,
No, were you a bedwetter?
No, I wasn't a bedwetter. No, I mean, I would eventually go take a piss, but I'm saying, like, I avoided it. It was, like, last minute that I had to do this. And sometimes I'd stay in that restroom for a long period of time.
All the residents of your family?
Huh?
All the residents of your family? They all scare me.
Let me just say this goddamn story,
Okay.
Chewy. I avoided this room all the time. The door was always open too, and I fucking hated that. I hated that the door was open and it was a dark room, and it was right across the bathroom, and I had to walk by this dimly lit hallway all the time to go to the bathroom. And one day I saw a pair of pants, Chewy. A pair of pants that nobody was in this pair of pants, but it ran and scurried across the goddamn room, Chewy.
What the fuck?
I was a little kid. It scared the fuck out of me. I was already scared of the room, and then I saw that. But you know what? Now I realize I was a fucking kid, man. I was a goddamn little kid that didn't understand shit. I still believed in a lot of stuff, and that is why I saw things. You believe, your mind corrects things or makes sense of the world based on your pre-notions of ideas you have. Your mind fills things in to make sense of the world that you perceive as a possibility. Once you stop believing in things as being in the realm of possibilities, you will never have a real experience again like that.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know, man. I was a fucking kid. Honestly, it's probably fucking nothing. I probably just watched too many scary movies. Like I told you, I watch scary movies all the time. I was a kid. I was scared of the room. I couldn't see in there. My mind made some shit up. I don't know, look, man. I can still see that pair of jeans running across the room, though, Chewy. Weird that it would just be a pair of jeans. No body. No,
That is weird, dude.
Right? Hey, you got a closet full of jeans over there, Chewy.
I don't know, man.
Just running amok in this room, jumping on your bed.
It makes perfect sense now. Like, I've always wondered what fucking happened in Michael's childhood that fucked him up.
Well, that wasn't it. I mean, that's probably the side effect of whatever did fuck me up as a kid. Just scared of a black jeaned person. I can't see their face anymore.
That's honestly one of the scariest stories. I mean, I don't ever know if I'm going to go back to that house. I know exactly what house that is.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of that house. To be honest with you, I've only been in Michael's room, his actual room.
Like twice.
One time.
No, twice.
Twice?
You guys had a fake seance in my room one time.
That's what I'm talking about right now.
No, you had been in there before.
Okay.
You fought your way to the room.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to see his room.
Just to see what was in there.
Yeah, I wanted to see his room.
Get out of here.
I don't know what weird shit happens in his room. So we were at Michael's house around Halloween time, I think.
Can't let the pants monster know that I have other friends, Chewy. I'm trying to keep everybody safe and the pants monster happy.
Michael couldn't keep us all contained. There was a lot of people at his house that day.
Yeah.
So he had to take care of other people, and me and my friends were able to get into his room. We go in there and it's like fucking a Wonder Emporium. We're like, what? Like, what kind of weird shit is like? His whole room is weird as shit. When I say that, it's not that weird, but it's weird though. Like, it's not that weird, but it's just weird. Like, there's just weird. Like, in my head, I'm just trying to remember what there's like a model rocket.
Yeah, there is a model rocket in there.
There's a model rocket, a bowling pin, and then a motorcycle helmet.
Yeah,
and
dude, some of that shit's on Instagram.
And
you can see that on my profile right now. It's not that weird.
It's not that weird, but we were in there, and all of us collectively, like, we're like, man,
doing a fake seance in that few minutes.
Well, dude, like, you remember watching The Passion of the Christ when Satan started talking to
the little baby man?
Yeah, the little baby man. It's like I started hearing him talking. We're like, yes.
Like some dead language is
speaking in a dead language. We're like, do you guys hear that? We're like, yeah, it's like a dead language.
Some rustling in the closet from some heavy denim rubbing against each other.
So we're like, what? So we were compelled. No, we were just like, we weren't compelled. We were like, you know what we should do? We should have a fake seance in here. so when we were just really, it was like a creepy room, so like it just made sense. So we all sat there and we started like flicking on and off a fucking flashlight. And when Michael got in there, we were just speaking the same dead language as the pants. It was pretty creepy. Pretty creepy to say the least. So I mean, fuck, dude, I want to kind of just go for 2 hours at this point.
Oh, I don't know.
It's a marathon, but I think we can do it. If you got anything I told you. I gave you a task.
I brought enough to this topic.
Give you a task.
I brought enough to... I got a busy thing this week, man.
That is a busy thing.
Yeah, man.
Marriage.
We'll
have a whole episode on that.
For sure.
That's scary enough.
Yeah.
So until next time, goodbye.